but I'm on into high school and I'm a rising senior. And this is my Arduino MIDI controller. So a MIDI controller is like an instrument, except instead of playing sound, it sends signals to your computer, which will play sounds for you. The advantages of using a MIDI instrument over a regular one is that with a regular instrument, you're only able to play one kind of sound. While with a MIDI instrument, you can play any kind of sound you want as long as you have the correct software for it. So this MIDI controller is one plastic box topped with 12 buttons and 4 knobs. One of these knobs contains a control which octave the notes played are, while the other ones are customizable. Inside of the box are 44 different wires, as well as an Arduino Uno, which is the controller part of the MIDI controller. I'm going to give a demonstration of the notes in action. So, yeah, as you can see, if I press a button here, it corresponds with a note on my computer, which will play. This can also accept MIDI notes, and would send an LED pulse down this LED strip, but that just unplug itself. So I'm going to skip that part. Anyways, so what I really enjoyed about making this project was experimenting with it, because along the way I'd add more buttons or add more knobs, and it was really fun seeing the kind of music I can make, as well as what I can do with this instrument that I couldn't do without it. What I didn't like about this project was soldering, mostly because I had a lot of wires, and this box is not big enough for all of them. So whenever I put the lid back on, it worked fine. I'd screw it in, and then something would fall out. So I'd have to unscrew it, take it off, and go back to the soldering station. I think I spent like 10 hours in all at the soldering station just soldering wires. It got pretty good at it at the end. Okay, so what I learned a lot of things from Bootcamp, and actually some of them were even related to my main project, though most of them weren't. I learned a lot about circuits, since I've never done circuits before this project. I also learned how to make music with some music software, how to make Vocaloid music, which stands for virtual singer, and how to make Unity games, which is what I did in the very last week when I finished everything else. What I like about Bootcamp in general is just the amount of freedom you get with your project. You can basically do whatever you want as long as you think it works towards making your project better. Like when I first arrived, I told the instructors I'm doing a MIDI controller, and they gave me the parts and said, "Okay, go for it." And I was like, "Don't they get a tutorial or something?" Yeah, I didn't get any of that. Basically, just spent the first 30 minutes picking through parts, trying to figure out what each of them even did. And yeah, it was a good experience to basically do all the research and direct myself in my own project. So it was pretty fun. Thank you. Any questions?
You say there are 4 knobs, and one of them is octave. What are the other 2 knobs?
They're customizable. Basically, if you put in your music software, if it's MIDI compatible, there should be an option to connect to controller any parts like volume, panning, pitch. I can actually probably do this right now. So this should change the volume. Yeah, you can just customize what each knob do in the software.
Can you explain a little bit more about how your Arduino communicates with your MIDI software?
So MIDI is basically where your controller will send packets, and in those packets there are bytes, and the bytes are different kind of signals, like command control. Some of them will set notes on, set them off, etc. And your computer will read that and play the sounds. And the way I got the signals from the Arduino to my computer is through a couple of free software. I had one called Airless MIDI, which I used to accept the signals from the Arduino. Then I sent it through another software called Loop MIDI to get it through to LMS, which I used to play my notes.
right.